moment to sit with thought leaders, not one, not two, but close to 20 thought leaders in one room. Ladies who are doing wonders in this community, ladies who are leading their spaces in the workplaces, women who are leaders in their spaces. So just having them all in one space to even ask them questions and to network with them during tea time, this is beyond a blessing. So we appreciate you. Thank you for taking time even in your busy schedules, because you are busy, you know? And so just taking time to even show up physically to the event, we want to thank you and to appreciate you. But hey, we are in someone's home. And so first, I would like to welcome the owners of this home to welcome us officially to their space so that we can run our business in their space. So to start off, I would like to call upon Dr. Joyce Mushemi. Dr. Joyce Mushemi is a chair of the Criminal Justice and Sociology Department. She's also an expert in conflict and gender studies here at USIU, which is my alma mater. Aha. All right, thank you. So Joyce Mushemi, welcome to the stage. Thank you very much. Hands of applause.
Thank you. Mine will be very short. I am part of the USIU community, so I'm here to welcome you very shortly. The day is yours, others. We hope to sit there one day. Next time, Mr. Dosso, I want to be there as well. Welcome to USIU. USIU is a gender-inclusive institution. Gender matters are taken very seriously, and that can be attested to the fact that we have our dean, the dean of our School of Humanities and Social Sciences, as well as the DVC, Students and Affairs, with us here supporting us. As we move on, maybe what I need to say from research and your writers is that for us to push the agenda of gender ahead, we must not forget the men. We must not forget the men because they play a very crucial role. And sometimes they just accuse us that when we are facing challenges, that's when we are so quick to bring the gender card. Oh, you know, I'm a woman, so you need to be careful, stuff like that. So, but if we work with them and sensitize them and let them know our issues, they will support. And I can attest 100% that USIU supports women and their women and all other groups included in the welfare of our society as USIU. So with those few remarks, I want to invite our Dean, Professor Martin Njoroge.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mushemi. Good afternoon. So good to see you. You look so beautiful. Yes, so mine is very brief. I'm the dean in this school, School of Humanities and Social Sciences. And I'm so excited that one of my classmates of undergraduate days is also here, Professor Joyce. There she is. Yeah, we were together in undergraduate from first year to the final year. And seeing you here, Dr. Agalo, is so exciting. Yeah, so on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, who is not here, the other DVCs, but I'm happy that one of the DVCs is here, and especially on behalf of the School of Humanities, where this event is being hosted, feel very, very welcome. I love mothers, I love sisters, I love women, because of the role you play in the society. Had it not been for my mother, I would not be here. So maximum respect to all of you for weathering the storm and to become what you have become in your different spheres of influence. Being a writer is not easy. I'm a writer, I know it's not easy. So the fact that you are others, salute. Yeah, thank you very much for that 1 or 2 minutes of saying hello.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for him. Thank you. We appreciate you. Now we are at ease. Now we can introduce ourselves and go about with our businesses. My name is Hannah Geduke. I am a business trainer and consultant. I'm also a speaker and author and a personal branding coach. I work with Inside Out Development, which is a training and consultancy firm. I am going to be your MC and your moderator for this fantastic event. Thank you very much. Okay, great. Thank you. So the next person I would like to call on stage is going to be the operations director of Zion Pearl Publishers, because this is the reason we are all here. He had a dream, he had a vision. And we'll keep talking about this because writership, authorship is not the easiest thing you can do. It's a very challenging task. So even as a personal branding coach, I keep telling people, you must share your knowledge. You must share your knowledge. And the first question people ask, how do I write a 200-pager book? Because writing, I can tell you, when you start writing and scribbling, you might think you have very many words. When you put them on that book, it's like an article. When you start typing and putting it on that book, and when I started writing, someone told me your book has to stand on the table. It has to stand. If it's not standing, that's a booklet, okay? And for a book to stand on the table, it needs about 225 pages for it to actually stand on that table. And again, I mean, writing all those words is not an easy task for one person. So this is a visionary who came up with a brilliant idea, because all these leaders have something to share, and they're probably not ready yet to write something that is 225 pages, or some are and some are not. Can we put together a book that has all their chapters so that we have a book that is more than 221 pages that is contributing to the knowledge in this industry, in the country, in the continent, and in the world? So I would like to invite to the stage Mr. Doso Radido, who is the project manager of She Leads. Come on stage. There you are, yes. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Well, our hosts, all invited guests, authors, families, and friends, good afternoon. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be here this afternoon, and I'm so happy to behold what we are seeing here today. And I have many things that I would love to say about what is happening here today. But before I do, I think we skipped one or two people from the USIU leadership, and I want them to say hello to us so that we get to hear the message that they brought to us this afternoon. So if you allow me, I will bring back Dr. Joyce to call them for me, please. All protocol observed.
Okay, I think we forgot our DVC Students Affairs. Dr. Boyo, please come and greet us. Now that Radido says you should, he had said it's fine, but...
Thank you. I had actually taken my notebook to take notes from this gentleman, so allow me to interject. But on behalf of the VC, who really wanted to be here again, I want to say welcome, and we are so grateful that we are engaging. We look forward to more engagement, more partnership, and from this, I believe we'll be able to do much, much more. Thank you and welcome. Thank you, sir.
A round of applause for him, please. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, leadership of USIU. We are glad that you received as well. You've been very, very kind to us and very supportive. If anything will be told about why this day has been a success, we must be able to mention that the support we received from your end was enormous, and we are glad. We feel so home. We feel like we've been part of this community. And it's an amazing thing. So my name is Doso Radido. I am the project manager for this project and also the operations director for Zion Pearl Publishers. This project is a product of a concern. And if you've been around for a while and your ears have been on the ground, hello? Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe you can give me some more sound on it. It's on, but it's low. So I was saying, if your ears have been on the ground, then you must have heard people talking about issues about gender, discrimination. A lot of what we hear is gender-based violence. There is gender parity. There are issues of equity and inclusion, representation. And for me, I like talking about it as women's involvement. I like using the word women's involvement so that I move myself away from gender, because sometimes when you look at it as gender, it only has 1 or 2 connotations. But when you look at them as a whole, then you have an opportunity to see a lot more than that. So the project is a product of a concern. The concern is that we have been waging a war for a while now to be able to create room and space for our women as a way of tapping into their resourcefulness. I'm very careful with the words that I'm using, so that we don't just look at the numbers or the gender. I am so much interested in the resourcefulness they carry. So that when I talk about women's involvement, I am looking at how can we tap into their resourcefulness as a way of boosting our competitiveness and adding value to our lives. So the war we've been waging has been one that has 2 forces pulling in the opposite direction. Some people feel women are women, we should not take them seriously or pay a lot of attention to them. But then there are some like me who feel like these people are resourceful, they are creative, they have the energy, they carry life. There is innovation in them, there are beautiful ideas in them. There are things they know that can make our lives better. And therefore we should do everything possible to tap into that resource, at least when they are still around, so that we use that to power our lives, to power growth, to power development, to power advancement, and even to create competitive advantage for ourselves. So if you've been listening to the conversations that are happening around how far we have come, we get to hear things like equity, inclusion, representation. If you look at how they measure that, there are certain percentages they use to measure that. As we speak today, I think the best we are seeing happening is a representation of about 38%, 40%. Some places is 36%, and it's moving in that direction. Before we got there, it was not looking like that. So that means that we are making some progress. So that as we look at that, we have something to celebrate because of the effort that we have put and the results we are seeing. But we also have something to work on in terms of bringing it to a place where we can fully and exhaustively tap into this resource. So the project was desiring to contribute to that conversation by way of picking from the experiences, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the insights of women who have had an opportunity to lead, to do something, or to initiate something in their own spaces, whether they are employed or they are running their own entities, or whether they are picking from what they know from their personal lives. The reason why this is very important is because a lot of the conversation that has gone in this space has not given enough room for their voices. A lot of what has been done has not given enough room for their voices. And it is important for us to give room to their voices so that we get to know exactly how it feels to be in that space. We get to know exactly what is working and what is not working. And when I talk about that, I want to give an example of what we know to be the 2/3 gender rule. If you are a Kenyan, you probably have heard about the 2/3 gender rule, because a lot of institutions are trying to align themselves with that that provision of the law, because it is required that we implement the 2/3 gender rule. The 2/3 gender rule was debated at some point, and most of the people who were in the room when it was being debated were men. And they passed the rule, and it came out here. It's a beautiful rule. The letter of it is good, the spirit of it is good, but we still have a challenge with implementing it, especially how we interpret the rule. The rule, in my opinion, seemed to be misinterpreted. In many spaces, everybody is striving to give that 1/3 to the women and then retain the 2/3 to the men. Yet the rule says any gender can rise up to 2/3, right? So in many organizations, once they have attained 1/3 for the women and then 2/3 for men, they clap for themselves. And now they can take photos and say, see, we are doing very well. That's a product of misinterpretation of that rule. So that if we interpret that rule correctly, then we should know that it is okay, it is permissible by law that to have women occupying up to 2/3 or 2/3 of that space. So the challenge I have with that rule is that that misinterpretation is actually affecting the way we are implementing it and the way we are measuring the progress that we are making. But importantly, it is also denying us an opportunity to be able to fully exhaust the resource. Because if we keep capping it at 1/3, that means there are so many other people that we are locking out. And my problem is this locking out approach to things. I would want it to be so open so that if there is anybody in our midst that is resourceful, that is creative, that has the energy, has the idea, has the competence, the capability, and the willingness to jump into that space and offer leadership, we should permit it to happen without necessarily looking at gender. Because gender for me is a container. If you open the container inside, you'll find energy, you'll find life, you'll find creativity, you'll find innovation, you will find a great desire for progress and all these beautiful things. So that if we keep locking ourselves by those definitions, then we will keep losing. So while we are celebrating 1/3 of them being involved or being useful in our spaces, we must be asking ourselves, what's happening to the remaining 2/3? Where is it going? Because it is there. And if we don't make use of it, then we keep losing it. So that this project now opens a window for us to be able to hear their voices, and number 2, to just shine a spotlight on them. Actually, we are seated here because of these women. There is no other reason that has brought us here. We are coming here to celebrate them and what they know, what they have done, and what they aspire to be. And I think if we continue to do this, then we will help in moving that needle in the right direction. So that from what they know, we can build a body of literature that can be used to influence our thinking, that can be used to influence our practice, that can be used to influence the policies that we are coming up with. And importantly, we can have enough models that that other women can actually model after. Because when we shine a spotlight on them, they become an example. Other people will say, okay, I want to be like her. I like what she's saying. But again, it will help us to bridge that literature gap, because there is a huge literature gap in terms of what do we know from within our spaces, because a lot of our people don't get to document what they know. So we need to document a lot of that so that we have more than enough stories, more than enough voices, so that people can be able to hear and learn from them. And this will help us to frame our minds correctly, begin to look at them differently, and begin to engage with their resourcefulness differently. And hopefully by doing that, we begin to move this needle in the right direction. So that is the idea behind this project. We are hoping that by the time the project is done, we will have spoken to at least 10,000 women leaders to tap into their wisdom, tap into their resourcefulness, get to hear their voices, and give them a platform to be seen, to be known, and to be heard. Today you will see them, you will know them, and you will hear them. So that from here you will pick a bit of the wisdom they carry, and it will help you to actually begin to appreciate them in a way that will hopefully help us to engage with that bundle of resource in a different way. So I am so glad that I took the responsibility to stand behind this. It's not easy work, but I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of it. I'll do what I can in my time. I know we are not here to stay forever, but we will be remembered for this, right? We will be remembered for this. And the reason why we are putting it into books is because we know that books don't die. 100 years from now, some people will be reading about your thoughts and the things you are saying. So these ones will speak long after we are gone. So the strategy we are using is actually a long-term strategy. It's a near eternal strategy. Unless something comes and burns the books down, the books will remain. Because we want people to know that we existed, that we were concerned, and that we did something about it. We were not just grumbling and making noise about it. No. We try to do something that can move things in the right direction. By the time we are done with this program, you will actually agree with me that these women are wise, that they are knowledgeable, that they are experienced, that they know something that the world should actually know. All they needed is a platform like this. Some of them are actually writing for the first time. And I'm glad that through this project, now you are going to start calling yourselves author so-and-so. That is so good. So if they ask you, who are you? You will say, I am so-and-so, but I'm also an author, you know? That's very powerful. When you become an author, you are a different kind of human being. Because you are a thought leader. You are a thought leader, you are an influencer. You are somebody who can actually challenge people and shape people's minds, and that's a very beautiful thing. So this day is a wonderful day for me. I feel so honored because we are launching the 3rd and the 4th volume. The first volume was done in July last year. Then another volume came up in September. And then these 2 volumes are coming up now. Hopefully before the end of the year, we will do 2 or 3 other volumes. And then we shine a spotlight on more and more women. As we do this, we will also be able to put together activities that can help us to engage in constructive conversations that can help us to shine a spotlight on the issues that are still holding us back. From where I stand, I think one of the biggest challenges we have that is hindering us from really engaging women as a resource is the cultural mindsets through which we look at life. A lot of us are viewing life from a cultural mindset. That is why it is a statement of limitation. Don't go that way because you are. So they get to be aware. Many women are actually conscious. They know that they are women. Most of us men even forget that I am a man because we have not been exposed to those kind of messaging. So there is a lot of influence from our culture about how we look at them. And that sometimes can be very, very limiting. Because when you look at her as a woman first, then that will cause you to think differently about what she's thinking about. It will cause you to think differently about her capability, about her ability to deliver. And many of us who have struggled with believing in their ability to deliver are actually under the influence of culture. Because if you give them an opportunity and you just support them well, they just deliver. Like now they have just delivered. These are just women writing this book. We've just helped them, you know. That kind of support is what is needed to have something beautiful like this. And innovation and good intentions and ability. Just the same way a man can be here and they have capability and creativity and innovation and everything else. And they do what they can do because they are capable of doing that. If you look at them beyond that, then you'll begin to see that that is a resource that we can use to spice up our lives and to power our progress and growth as a people. Because if we keep ignoring them, then we are the ones who are losing. I like saying, if we were trees, if all of us were trees, then whoever would go to that forest to harvest timber most likely would get out with more female timber than male timber because we have more females than males. Do you know that? So just imagine we are trees and we are capable of timber. We are capable of producing timber. So some of you are being ignored because you are a female tree. And others are being, people think they are capable, more capable because they are male trees. So we are harvesting timber from the male trees and we are leaving the female trees there to just stay and do nothing. So that from that observation, one thing I've realized is that we actually underutilize the resource that is in women. We underutilize it. So when we give birth to it, we treat because you are. When she gets to a place of work, she's told, no, you can't be this and that and that. Marriage, she's told, you can't be this and that and that. So she keeps running through that pipeline. The only thing we do very, very well with them is to bury them. When we bury them, we bury everything. So we under-raise them, we under-educate them, we under-employ them, we under-marry them, then we over-bury them. That's a sad story. It is my hope that through these forums and through conversations like these ones, we can change that. So that by the time we are burying them, we have fully exhausted their resource. Nobody goes to the grave with anything that they brought to life to be able to contribute value to our lives. And if you begin to look at it that way, then you'll realize that we have a lot to really tap from these people. So as I finish, this project hopes that by the time we are done, we'll build a body of literature that can be used as reference material. So that when our people want to read about women and women in leadership and what women have been able to do, we have enough of them. It is okay to read about Michelle and Oprah Winfrey and all those people, but it is also okay to read about Hannah and Suzanne and Lima and Dr. Mary and all of these people, because they are here and they have demonstrated to us that they can do that. We are also hoping that through this, we will shine a spotlight on them. We must shine a spotlight on them, because that is how the world gets to know that these people are there. So can anything good come out of Kenya? Yes, it can. Can anything good come out of our women? Yes, it can. Can anything good come out of Africa? Yes, it can. So we have to shine a spotlight on them so that we can demonstrate to the world that actually something good can come out. If we don't talk about them, we don't shine a spotlight on them and what they're doing, the world will think that nothing is actually going on here. And there are people from other parts of the world who think that we live in a jungle. There are people who think that Nigeria is just a village within Kenya. There are people who think that we know nothing completely. So we want to shock the world by publishing, because the world is driven by what is published. That is what they use as a reference material. We want to publish their thoughts. We want to tell their stories. We want to shine a spotlight on them. We are also hoping that we will be able to generate about 10 million quotes from what they are saying. If you go to our website today, you'll see quotes are flashing all over. So that as we quote Martin Luther King and Barack Obama and Mother Teresa, we can quote some of them. Some of them are saying things that are quite heavy, quite deep, and quite quotable. So we are going to initiate that process so that people can begin to quote what they know. We are also hoping that we will do enough conversations that can help us affect the policies that we are building that govern how we engage one another, and that determine what is permissible and what is not permissible. Because if we have enough policy frameworks, or we have a robust policy environment, then it is possible to build everything else in place, and it will be backed by law, so it becomes something that can be implemented. We're also hoping that from this, we will influence the way we interpret policies and the way we do practice. If we can get to a place where it doesn't matter which gender that person is, all we are looking at is, are they capable, are they willing, is it the right time for them to do what they are supposed to do, and then we permit them to do it, then I think we will have matured enough and we'll have gotten to a place where we can be able to tap into the resourcefulness of people. And lastly, we want to influence the way we do the capacity building for the women. And the reason why this conversation is happening in this kind of a space is because a lot of capacity building happens in institutions like these ones. And when we bring it here, then we know that a bit of what we are saying will be heard, and it will be considered when they are working programs or doing the trainings that they do here in a way that invests in women without really caring whether that gender will be able to use it the way it's supposed to be used, so that there is no discrimination when it comes to getting them ready for leadership. And one thing that makes me very proud of this institution is the way they package their students. Everybody that goes through here is packaged in a way that they can be released out there to exercise leadership because they are well equipped. That is what we want to happen everywhere, because capacity building is very important. It actually determines what happens on the front line at the point of execution. So that when we are raising women and we are raising the girls that are coming through a system like this, we invest in them with the intention of making them useful people out there without being hindered by the fact that they are operating in that container called female. Because as I said, it is just a container. If you open inside there, you'll find creativity and energy and life and beautiful stuff. And we should be able to be able to look beyond that and allow for the tapping of that resourcefulness in a powerful way. So that is our intention. So beyond doing book launches like this, we have plans. We have plans to have annual conversations. There is a conference that is coming up in the month of September, July, September. There we'll share with you the details. We are going to have an annual event called the Annual She Leads Summit. And the reason why we are going to do that, we want to bring all these women. There are many. We have some in volume 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we'll have many other volumes. An annual experience that can bring all these women together in a place so that we can be able to interact with them and learn from them. It is going to be a 3-day event. So I'm sure if we did that for maybe 10 years, we will have influenced maybe some 100 million women and deposited some seed that can provoke them into greatness in a way that can now shift the situation looks like now and be able to forcefully contribute value in a way that people cannot doubt. But beyond that, we have other small conversations that allows these voices to be heard and shines a spotlight on them in a way that helps us to begin to appreciate what they bring. So that is the essence of this project. And I just want to challenge all of you to begin to see things the way I'm seeing them and begin to rally yourself behind supporting causes like these ones. Because if we do this thing, this is just not a good thing to do, but it is the right thing to do. The reason why I'm saying it is the right thing to do is when I went to check how women were introduced into life, I realized that women were supposed to come as a complementary force to help the men. That is how a woman was introduced. God said it is not good for a man to be alone. So the person you are seeing next to you there is actually a complementary force. So there is no way we are going to ignore something that God has positioned as a complementary force that is supposed to come and help life happen. If we do that, we are going to be out of order. Because the mind of God was that women would come and be a complementary force to what men are able to do. So supporting them, shining a spotlight on them, rallying ourselves behind them is not just the best thing to do, it is the right thing to do. Here on earth and even in heaven it is approved. So I'm speaking with a lot of confidence because I know God is backing me up. So I want us to look at things the way I am looking at them, to rally ourselves behind them, support them. If you know of any of them in your house as a daughter or a sister or a wife, please go and begin to look at them differently and support them. Give them room, give them support, and just watch for yourself the beauty of what is going to come out of. Before I hand over the microphone to the MC, and I think I'll ask you this question, Hannah. Hannah, you are known for your work in the area of creating personal brands and how people can use that to influence change and impact. So I want to pose this question to you. Authentic stories, things like income, bring about growth.
All the women leaders who have contributed to this publication. Let's just clap for them. Let's just clap for them. Let's just clap for them. So someone told, this is awesome. This is awesome. So someone told me the other day, the best way to do an organized clap is to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's just try it here because somebody said, let's do an organized clap. Okay, let's start with the 5. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. You can have your seats. So before I answer that question, I think it's really good to appreciate the diversity that we have in this room and the diversity that we have in this single publication. The people who have authored this book have all written a chapter. And we have people in the HR professionals, or rather the HR profession. We have people who are in the medical and healthcare industry. We have coaches in the room. We have psychologists. We have people in the media industry. We have everybody contributing to this. And when Mr. Dorso talks about 10,000 women, and we are praying that that is going to happen very soon, can you imagine 10,000 women, all from different walks of life, all of them from different industries, all of them experts in their own spaces? Can you imagine them? Us reading the things that they have learned over the years. Can you imagine having 10,000 women having written things and shared their knowledge that we can all consume? How will this world be? I think it will be a wonderful world because everybody needs to know that they have something to share. And if you can share it with other people, that is leadership. That is serving. So we really, really appreciate you. In fact, can you just stand so that we can appreciate the diversity in the room one more time? Please just be upstanding. The authors of this publication. Let's just clap for them. Let's clap for them until they sit. Until they sit, let's just clap for them. Let's clap for them. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Even just being vulnerable to share your stories, because writing and authorship is about telling your own unique and authentic story. So for people to come and write their story and share it with you, it's not a mean task. There's a joke I always tell for others. Whenever we meet to greet each other, we go like, hey, what's your story? That's how authors greet each other, because a well-written book is a book that is sharing an authentic story about the person who's writing it. Do I have an echo or is it okay? Because I'm finding like I have an echo. Is this good? Okay. It's just me. I'm hearing myself with the echoes. But really, just seeing all these people sharing their stories, for me, this is a game changer. Mr. Dorso, I know I've asked you this question before, and I will not stop asking until the day you answer this. What is behind all this? What is the real story? And I know you talk about economic empowerment, you talk about all those things. I still want to sit with you one of these days and just get to know why. Why do you care so much? What is the deep story about it? And trust me, as a coach, I will extract. I will ask the what do we call them? The 5 wives and 1 husband. I will make sure I do the what, the which, the where, the when, and the how, until I get to know where is this coming from, because there's not many like you. He for she, we take it lightly, but it's not a mean thing to do. So really, we appreciate you. Let's appreciate him. Let's appreciate him for the amazing work that he is doing. Can I tell a joke? CEOs in the room. Why did the CEO start a fitness program? To strengthen their core values. So we all are here with different values, different stories, in one room, one publication, just spreading this knowledge to the world. I love it. And what did the author say to the stubborn plot? What did the author say to the stubborn plot? You are not following the script. I had to do that joke because the back and forth with Radido and the team, I was like, can you just take my work and just publish it? Just the back and forth, the back and forth. Can we correct this? Can we correct this? I'm like, my goodness, this is work. And that's what we're called to do, to put in the work. As leaders, we are meant to be coaches, to coach our followers, so that we guide them, but then they do the work. So thank you for all the work, Janet and Mr. Dorso, that you've been making us do tirelessly every night to make sure we deliver the thing that is up to standard with what you are looking for. So when I was looking at these volumes, because today is about a coaching volume and a leadership volume, 2 of them. There are a couple of things that stood out for me. And number one, first of all, aesthetics. Man, I don't know who designed this thing for you. It's top notch. This is awesome, guys. This is awesome. And even just the colors, the way they blend in together, I love it. This is royalty. I'm sure you asked what colors go well with women. I can see very many purples in the room. So you know you did it right. So this is awesome. I love the font. I love the aesthetics of it, you know. So the other thing that really just stood out for me in this book is the organization of it. And this is why there was a back and forth. Correct this. Please, can we call it this? I'm like, I called it what I wanted to call it, Mr. Dosso. It's like, no, can we change it to this? Because look at this. He is the expert in this industry of publishing. So he knows the thing that's going to catch the eye, the things that's going to make more sense for the reader. And so we followed your leadership. But so I really, really loved the organization of it. Do you know what other organization? The organization of this female gender in the room. Because trust me, we have a lot of things going on. We all have an opinion on everything. We are different, right? Different personalities as well. The reds, the blues, the yellows, the ones who don't want to talk, the ones who want to talk more. And just you bringing us together, quiet, follow, exchange. You're a leader and you're a coach. We appreciate you. That's awesome. Really awesome. Just ask one man how they deal with their woman in the home. Now, can you imagine organizing all these women to write one publication? And it's not the first time for you, and it's not the second time for you, and you're going to keep doing it. So we bless God for you. The other thing that I found is the diversity that I've talked about, and also just the vulnerability of the authors. I really enjoyed reading that, and the richness of the book and the stories and the blend. Totally enjoyed that. I want to read 3 things from the book just to give you an overview of what these people have written. I just picked 3 because of time, but everything in these publications is something you want to read. And so I want to read page 64. I know you know yourself who wrote it. I'm not going to say, because if I say, then I might have to read 10 quotes. So I'm going to read from page 64, the thing that really caught me. Don't wait for inspiration before you are willing to step out and start. Start with what you have, where you are. Do it afraid, with trembling hands. Always remember, you don't have to be great at the start, but you have to start for you to be great. Are you ready to step out of your comfort zone and start influencing more? I love that. The other one that I'm going to read is from page 82. That if you don't believe in yourself, who will? If you don't love yourself, who will? If you don't create your best life, who will? And the last one I'm going to read is from page 125, 126. Navigating your polarities with love is the only way to resolve the internal conflicts that challenge you. I have come to understand that more often than not, our actions are motivated by shame. Shame about not being good enough, shame concerning our visions, shame tied to our life's purpose, and even shame connected to the life that we aspire to lead. Can you visualize yourself in Mount Kenya Safari Club reading this book and all? Just tell me, are you not going to come out of that space a different person? Are you not? And that's why this book has to go wide. We have to make it trend. We have to splash it everywhere. These books have to do that because we want people to get this wisdom. We want people to be encouraged. We want people to be inspired. We want people to be motivated to take the first step. On to the question that you asked me. Did I take too long before answering it? I will answer that question because that question is gonna usher us into listening to the individual authors that have contributed to this publication. And so he decided I be the first one so that after that I can ask all the other authors to say something about what they wrote. And so for me, I'll tell you something. This year has been a year that I have decided to create, or rather help create and develop as many personal brands as possible. I want professionals, I want individuals to become personal brands of three things, and I'm calling it the 3 I's. And this is personal brands of influence, personal brands of impact, and personal brands of income. That's my goal for this year. That if 2024 is over, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,000 people saying, yes, I am an influential brand, I'm an impactful brand, and I'm making money. That's a big one. In fact, I like to say I work with self-driven individuals to help them create a powerful and profitable personal brand. Because you should be eating from your brand, your gift, your purpose, your passions. You should be eating from that. God was not unjust to put it inside of you. So why shouldn't you? If you're offering value to other people, why shouldn't you get value back? And so that is my thing for the year. Storytelling, because that was the question. I want all coaches to start telling their stories so that they can become influential, so that they can become impactful, and so that their stories can be monetized. How's about that? It's your story, but to monetize that story. So last year, November, my birthday, my husband took me to a very beautiful spot at the Mara. And if you follow me on social media, you will see I even put pictures. I even put pictures and videos of it. So he took me to this amazing place. And when we were on the little plane from, where's the place we take the little planes? Wilson. We happened to be on the same flight with the owner of one of the resorts at the Mara. And that's where we were going. So, of course, when she said, where are you guys going? I said, she was like, oh my God, I'm the owner of that place. I said, are you? It's my birthday weekend, because I knew if I say it's my birthday weekend, I'm going to have cake day one, dessert, everything on the house. And I did. Every single day there was a Maasai necklace. Every single day there was cake. Every single day, because I spoke to the person, the main person, right? So while we were there, he said, this is what she said to my husband. Make sure, because it's her birthday, make sure when you get to the place, go to the gift shop, because we have a fantastic gift shop and you will find something for her. And so when we went there, straight gift shop. And there's one coat that really drew my attention. I went straight to it. It was a coat that was leather, sort of. It was green, just simple but beautiful. I like simple but beautiful. So I went straight to it. I looked at it, loved it, and then I checked the price tag. It was a whopping $6,400. That's how much it was. $6,400. So, of course, I knew we're not getting this. I knew I didn't want to get that one. But then I just kept thinking, $6,000 for a coat? Just to add to many other coats that I have in my closet? And then I saw something else. There was a whole catalog and manual attached to this coat. And I started reading it. And there was a story about that coat. How it was made, how many women it took to make it, because it was handmade. How many children, I think it was 100 kids, it was going to educate if you bought it. How many families it was going to feed if you bought that coat. And there was so many things about that coat that made me say and change my mind. If I had the money right now, I would actually buy that quote. I would buy it because of the story, because of the influence, because of the impact, because it's not just a quote. It's a quote with a story. You want to become a brand of influence and income? You must start telling your authentic stories, because people don't buy the thing you sell. People buy why you sell it. So as leaders, as authors, I want to say story. Story is an acronym. How can you start using stories? The S is for strategy. For strategy, have a strategy how you can tell that story to make somebody want to say, I want to collaborate, I want to partner. The T is for transparent narratives. How authentic are you? How transparent are you with the people who follow you, with the people who partner with you? Tell that story. The O is for opportunities. Telling your story widens your opportunities to be able to serve even more people because there's impact in it. And then the R is for being reliable. When you tell your authentic stories, you become a reliable contributor, a reliable partner, and a reliable person who's selling something. And then lastly, to yield results. You want to make money from your personal brand? You want to make an impact and an influence? Start telling your authentic stories. Thank you. Story. The S is for strategy. The T is for being transparent. The O is for the opportunities that come with telling your story. The R is for being reliable, reliability. And the Y is for yielding results. Do you want to stand and do this so that we get to the next author? All right, let's all stand. Let's all stand. Thank you. Is my mic, can you hear me? Well, okay, now there's no echo. Okay, let's all stand. Let's just stand because I want to get to the authors now. I want us to again celebrate the authors so that I can start inviting them one by one. How do we celebrate? The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Thank you very much. You can have your seats. I wanted you to relax a bit. Again, before I invite the first author, I just must tell you that really there's a lot of vulnerability here, and there is also a lot of work that has been put in this publication. Because for somebody who has written, whether it's this book or another book or you have 2 books, you know the process is always different because there are challenges. Writer's block, you know about it. And I think this is for the people in the audience who haven't written a book. There's something we call writer's block, where you start writing and then you get to a place and you're wondering, what do I write next? What comes next? And it's a real thing. And you only experience it when you start writing. Research. Again, there's a lot of research that goes behind writing a book. And sometimes it can be very tedious. Isolation, isolation, isolation. People don't understand why you want to write, why you're writing, why you need 2 hours of quiet time, why you need to disappear to Naivasha for 2 hours to write, because it does get to a place where you must be isolated so that you can bring together your thoughts. Time, it takes time. The women in this room, some of us are married. Yours truly is married. Yours truly has 3 children. 14, I have to remember this, my goodness. 14, 11, and 9. Again, so when you have a husband and 3 children and a business to run, it can get a bit too tedious to just take an hour to write something and to scribble. So again, the time and the editing and everything else is a lot. So when you see them coming up here to speak, I want you to know they have put in a lot and a lot of work. So I'm going to go to the very first author. When I call on you, I would like you to come here to the podium, and then I'm going to hand you the mic. And I will ask you a question. You will answer the question and then go back and sit. And then we get to the next one and the next one so that we can be able to just consume all this knowledge. Is that good? Okay. If we can keep it to 3 minutes, that will be even better so that we all have a chance to contribute. Thank you very much. So, first up, a business leader with over 20 years experience in healthcare, telco, fintech, manufacturing, and petroleum. A member of the International Coaching Federation and the Rotary Club of Nairobi Connect. Passionate about sustainability and believes in giving back through coaching and mentorship of budding leaders. Elizabeth Wasuna. Let's clap for her until she gets on stage. Don't stop clapping until she gets on stage. Don't stop clapping, don't stop clapping. Thank you very much. Elizabeth, how are you doing?
I'm super duper good.
Oh, and you look super duper good.
Thank you very much.
Totally. So I'm going to ask you a question,
Okay.
and then you take it away, right? And the question that goes to you is, Elizabeth, how do you personally define courage, especially in the context of your own life experiences? Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, ladies and gentle kings. So courage is a muscle. Yeah, courage is a muscle. You only strengthen it by flexing it and practicing. The more you use your muscle, the stronger it gets. Yeah? So Ruth Gordon tells us, she's an award-winning American actress and a writer. And that's what she says. The more she exercised and practiced on that muscle, the stronger it becomes. So in my personal leadership journey, I've chosen courage over comfort. Yeah? Chosen courage over comfort. And how have I done it? First and foremost is to combat the fear of failure. When I look at CVs, I see notable achievements, key results. I never see failure. Have we, any of us, written a CV of failure? No, we don't write a CV of failure. So for me, I convert failure to learning. And I say, I'm always learning. And I learn forwards. So first and foremost is to combat the fear of failure. So what if I come, I'm the first speaker, and I bore the crowd? Come on, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah? Combating the fear of failure. The other thing is the mindset. We always say that when you have pepper spray, you have a panic button at home, you've learned a bit of kung fu or karate or boxing, then you say you have the strong weapon. The strongest weapon we all have is our mind. What you feed your mind is what comes out. So for me, I'm a champion of a glass half full in all the things that I do. So what I feed onto my mind, and I always say whenever there's doubt, yeah, stay calm, keep cool, yeah? Most importantly also is boundaries. Put your stick in the sand and say this is a line that no one crosses. Because we don't have boundaries today. Yeah, all around us, what do we see? We always say you're watermelon, you're yellow, you're green tomorrow. So draw your boundaries. People know who really you are. Yeah, and create, thank you very much, and create where you say that touches on a core value I'm willing to pay. And there, your courage also comes in. And then lastly, is be who you are. I mean, Elizabeth Wasuna is a long name. Liz works just fine. That's me. Yeah? I have a gait. What can I do about it? Lanky, swanky, Junos, name it. That's just who I am. And I come as a big ball of fire, a big ball of energy. So if you feel the energy overwhelms you, then apply your brakes. But this is just who I am. So for me, I've written about courage, choosing courage over comfort. And I'll just summarize on those 4 things. Combat the fear of failure. There's no failure, there's continuous learning. Then, what you feed your mind is what you live off. Draw your boundaries. People got to know where you stand. You can't shift. Put down your boundaries. And then just be who you are. People tell us, so I invite you
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz. We appreciate you. Indeed. Feed your mind. That's what grows. We really appreciate that. And be who you are. I totally love that. Was that good or good? And we are just getting started. We are just getting started. The next one up is a globally certified life and leadership coach, an NLP practitioner, speaker, trainer, and author. She is the founder of Posh Solutions, the vehicle she uses to serve her clients. It is an honor to have you here, Joan S. Woohoo! Good stuff. Can I have the other mic, or do you want us to use one mic? We can use one mic. Yeah, we can. Okay, great. There you go. Thank you very much. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
Joan, in your amazing chapter on mastering the language of the mind, you shared an insightful discovery that you made in your coaching journey, that your first coaching client was you. Mm-hmm. Tell us a bit about that discovery. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hannah. Hi, everybody. How are you? I cannot begin my conversation without honoring the shoulders on which I'm standing on today. I don't want to be emotional because we just have 3 minutes, but I want to just honor my mom. Mama, you're special. I love you so much. When God was giving moms, he gave me and my siblings the best. I love you so much, Mama. I honor my sister, Jackie. She's an amazing person. I honor I have my niece, my nephews. Please stand up. Let people see. Let me brag on my family. Let me spend my 3 minutes bragging. I love. Those are my nephews and my nieces. And I have very close friends who are here. And I want to celebrate every one of you. And most importantly, I save the best for last. I honor my God. I cannot stand here without saying that God is the one who has brought me this far. I'm one of those people who don't believe in the concept of being self-made. I do not believe there's anybody who's self-made because there was somebody somewhere who helped you along the way. It could have been a parent, a teacher, a neighbor, even an enemy. Sometimes your enemies can push you to greatness. I celebrate every one of you. Thank you for coming to celebrate us. It is so special to stand here in your presence. And Hannah has asked me a question that I was the first coaching client. The truth is I have a company, Posh Solutions, and I'm client 001. Why? Because I figured that I'm the first person that I will ever lead. All of us here are leaders. But if you're not leading yourself effectively, chances of you having effective leadership in the marketplace will be a challenge. The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, when I was doing this book, when I was doing my chapter on mastering the language of the mind, I had come from a very rock bottom experience. There's a friend of mine, I don't know whether she's here. We used to always joke that rock bottom has basements. You get to rock bottom, and then a whole other basement comes in. And it was challenging. My life was a hot mess. Things were just not working out. But guess what? Coaching led me to ask myself very, very important questions that I would challenge every one of you to ask yourself. Coaching is a mirror. And when I was looking into that mirror, I saw my superpowers. I saw my excellence. I saw my strengths. I saw how awesome I am as a human being. But guess what? Just like two sides of a coin, there were creases, flaws in my character, blind spots, things I had never noticed before. And when I was in this rock bottom experience, I began asking myself, Joanne, what do you want? If I was to ask every one of you here today, what do you want? What did you answer? I have coached clients, and many times people stumble with that question, like, what do you mean exactly? And I had to ask myself, what do you want, Jojo? What got you here? What are some of the mistakes that you made that got you to where you are today? What are your learnings? I don't have regrets. I just have learnings. I don't regret anything because regret is a waste of energy. But what am I learning from my mistakes? Joanne, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your epitaph to say? Do you know? Do you know what your legacy will be? I don't want to just die and leave it to chance. I am building my legacy now. Hannah, when we were talking about me coaching myself, I literally did it. I scheduled sessions with myself, the way I schedule sessions with my clients. And I sat in front of a mirror, and I told myself, maybe, Joanne, you're losing it. But I said, I'm going to be crazy because I want to take a seat, look at myself in the mirror, and ask myself questions. And I demanded answers from myself. I hold myself to very high standards. And I challenge every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, hold yourself to standards higher than what people expect from you. And I did something that I would encourage every one of you here today, even as I wind up. I gave myself a gift. What is the first thing? When you go on a website, what do you see? Quickly, guys, when you go on a website, what are some of the common things you'll always see on a website? About us, mission, vision, values. How many of us do that for ourselves? How many of us sit down to write down, what are my values? What exactly is powering me? What is my mission statement? What is my vision? Where am I going? That is a gift I give myself. And by the power of God, by the power of my own coach, I have a coach. Coaches have coaches, by the way. I also coach people. And by me coaching myself, I was able to get out of a very difficult, very turbulent experience to be able to sit here. This book, my chapter, is a byproduct of me coaching myself. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with a challenge. Today, when you leave here, before you sleep, I want you to schedule a meeting with yourself. Your phone off, the world won't stop. 1-2 hours. Schedule it, put it on your planner, put it in your diary. Tell yourself, self, we are going to sit down and we're going to chat the way forward. Where am I going? Who am I? Ladies and gentlemen, it will do wonders for you. I celebrate you. I honor my fellow authors. Authors, I want to tell you, there is an author who said that books are a gift that keep on giving. I celebrate you. May your gift give globally. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Amen, amen, amen. My goodness. Wow, Joanne, thank you very much. Very insightful challenges there. And we accept the challenge. We are taking the challenge, Joanne. Thank you very much. We are taking the challenge. Thank you. Was that good or good? Great. A HR professional with extensive experience in people and culture management, spanning across the NGO and the public sectors. She partners with organizations to co-create thriving workplaces. She is the director at WST People and Culture Management Consultants. We are talking about Suzanne E. You clap until she gets a mic. You clap until she gets a mic. Yeah. Take that one. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so I'm very honored to be here this afternoon. And the one thing, maybe I start off.
I'm about to ask you a question, though.
Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry,
I'm about to ask you a question.
Yes, sorry.
I ask you a question
Yes,
and then
please.
you
Yes, then I
weave
get back to
with
that.
everything
Yes,
else, right?
yes.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, great. So in your chapter,
Yes.
you did talk about the need to harness the power of women at the workplace. What would you highlight as a powerful strategy to bring in more women into the workplace and to enable them to thrive?
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So the story I was going to tell you, I'm a woman who grew up with 8 men in the family. It was just my mother and me and my 7 brothers, a house manager, male, and my father. So my whole life was around men. So at the workplace also, somehow I was always around men. So my story really navigates the workplace as a woman, but working with men and also learning from the men. So I liked what I think Dr. Mshemi said about the whole issue of male allies. The story, the chapter I write, also really highlights the power of that. Because sometimes we look at them versus us, but that's not the story really. I saw the power of male allies, and anybody reading my chapter, you'll see a lot of men on whose great shoulders I stood upon. Yeah? So that's one very powerful message. So I'd like to sum up the whole chapter in these ways. Early messages, the invisible door, and the glass ceiling. So what are the strategies we used for that? So the early messages are what Mr. Doso talked about earlier. When you grow up as a child, my brothers were all allowed to study sciences. They were encouraged, actually, not allowed. They were pushed towards the sciences. My father didn't really. So long as I was passing, I did the most ridiculous combination of subjects you can think of. I learned German, I learned French, and just anything that I felt I could do. So long as I passed, there was no issue. But my brothers, physics, chemistry, biology, and stuff like that. So I pitied them, but I didn't quite feel bad because they were soft on me. Yeah. So that later I realized worked for me, but also against me, because that actually works against women going into the workplace. We don't have so many women entering the IT, the science space, etc. So whereas it looked okay and soft for me, it was an early message that wasn't good for me. So those early messages, the ecosystem that surrounds our upbringing as women can actually work against us. When you look at the social media, when you think of a doctor, you'll always see a male doctor. When you look at a pilot, it's normally a man. But when you look at a nurse, most likely it will be a lady, yeah? So those messages actually now start influencing the kind of choices we make as women. So I think those are some of the things I'm seeking to encourage leaders to challenge. The ecosystem is larger, so it's about the policy frameworks and all those. How can we change all that so that we have more women thinking differently, so that even as they get to this invisible door, which is formed by all these early messages, the cultural messages that they get, then they can start viewing themselves differently. Then they get through that invisible door. Sometimes even the job ads you see, they're actually telling you we want a man who can go to Isiolo, because it's a hard, what do you call it? It's not an easy station. So those are some of the things that keep women out. Then they get into the workplace. So again, the chapter talks about what stops women from thriving at the workplace. So I'm challenging leaders really to think about what are some of the job designs. If you make this woman work 24/7, really, can they thrive if you have 3 kids, etc.? So it's about challenging our mindset. Looking at COVID, what did it teach us? It means that we can actually work a lot from home, use IT. So there's so many other ways of work. It's not only about having coaching, role models, all, and I got serious and did an MBA, and that's why I ended up in HR. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness, Susan. I want to read that chapter. I mean, the women in this room want to read that chapter. Thank you very much. And thank you for that. I think we want to know how we can break the proverbial glass ceiling. And so we want to read that. Thank you for to take notes with the stage. Vanessa, welcome. Yes, all right, great. Thank you very much, Vanessa. And I do have a question for you.
Yes.
How did you get your 3 fields into your chapter?
And those 5 pillars are your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual health. Through each of those aspects in my chapter, and whether you're an athlete or whether you're a CEO or whether you're in journalism, HR, whatever it may be, you can relate to this and you can understand how to pave the way forward in your beautiful journey. As my introduction was nice and short, I think my response is too. So thank you all for coming and attending.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I'm definitely going to have a word with you after. The sports psychologist who is passionate about supporting clients to realize what they are truly capable of. Chair of the Association of Coaching, and is excited about growing the Kenya Association of Coaching family in East Africa. We are talking about Wiz. Welcome to the stage, Wiz. Welcome. I love the name. Totally love the name. All right, here you go. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone.
I have a question for you,
I'm
it's
ready.
an interesting one. So, Wiz, what is the key message you hope people will take away from reading your chapter on heroes and their sidekicks?
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I can't believe I'm an author. So I think my key message, so my title of the title of my chapter is called Heroes and Sidekicks. When I was young and even till now, I've always been a huge fan of Disney movies, fairy tales, and mainly heroes and the relationship they have with their sidekicks. Because if you think about it, the hero always sort of comes from some unlikely place. I mean, Aladdin was literally a tramp on the side of the street, and the genie helped him realize what he was truly capable of. I mean, who doesn't love the genie from Aladdin? And it started to make me think about who the people who have been my sidekicks in my life. And I really highlight them in the book. One of them's here today. Hi, Mum. But basically the women who've really held space for me, the women who really saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And it's something that I started to think about as I grew older. And as I was writing the book, I kept thinking, that's why I became a coach. It's because I want people to realize that they are truly capable of amazingness. But at the start of writing the book, I kept thinking, like, who on earth am I to write a book? I mean, like, who really is Wheeze to sit here and write a chapter in a book called She Leads, Volume 4? And I was like, oh my gosh. And then it made me think about my favorite quote in the whole world, which is from the Dalai Lama. And he says, if you ever think you're too small to make a difference, try spending the night with a mosquito. So thanks, everyone. I hope you really enjoy the book, and I just hope that everyone here can try and be a coach or a sidekick in someone else's life. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it. Thank you very much. Can we all be coaches or sidekicks? Lovely. Thank you. The next one that we're going to be listening to is a certified professional life coach with a focus on transitions. Her passion lies in assisting people as they navigate changes in their careers and their lives, enabling them to discover their path forward and accomplish their aspirations. She is committed to aiding individuals to realize their full potential and firmly believes that everyone possesses the capability to craft a life that they truly cherish. And we would like to welcome to the stage Winnie Sigay. Let's clap until she gets here. Let's clap, let's clap, let's clap until she gets here, until she gets here. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Winnie. And I do have a question for you. In the chapter, Winnie, you discussed your experiences and various transitions. What specific turning point led you to transition your career into coaching?
Thank you for the question. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really honored and able to be amidst all of you and the authors. So for me, I think I've gone through so many transitions, but the one that sticks out was about 2 years ago. My husband and I, we have 3 children. They were transitioning to high school. 13 years ago, I resigned to take care of the children, and I was a stay-at-home mom and to support my husband, whose job required him to travel. So in the 13 years, we've been traveling up and down. So 2 years ago, now all of a sudden, my children have left. I needed to figure out what to do next, but I was lost. I needed to find myself. I had so many limiting beliefs. I'm just a housewife. Can I transition back to employment? Not forgetting that I was in USIU, my undergrad, and I did an MBA here also. Yeah. So at that time, I knew I needed to take care of myself. I needed to take care of Winnie, find who Winnie was. So we were in Rwanda at the time, and I met a lady called Shifra. She's a coach, and she introduced me to the world of coaching. So I signed up for a coaching program with CDI, and in the process of doing my program, I found myself. The challenges that I was having, the mindset that I had, I think before maybe I was looking at the glass half empty. Now I was looking at it as half full. I was able to sort of start the process to remove the blockers, the limiting beliefs that I had, that I couldn't do anything. And I found that I had new energy. I wanted to do something. So when I was done with the coach, I was like, this is for me what I want to do. I want to share this gift of coaching with everyone I can impact that knowledge to. And for me, transition is because of my husband, Albert, he's at the back. Because of him.
Hi, Albert. Thank you, Albert. Thank you for coming to support.
I have had so many transitions. We've lived in different countries. I've had so many transitions in my life. And so that is my niche. That is where the area I really focus on. And just as I close, I'd like to encourage everyone, you're not alone. For me, I thought at that point, I thought I was alone. But I got someone who mentored me, who coached me through that. So we are not alone. And I write a lot more on that on the book. So as I wind down, I'd like to thank my husband. Thank you very much. You're the wind beneath my wings. I really appreciate you. My siblings are here. And all my friends, thank you very much. And my parents who are watching from home, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate you sharing that. And when I started, well, I was just saying, when you see women sitting down to write, it takes a lot for women to be in leadership. You know, there's the taking breaks in between, even when you have an MBA and a PhD. You know, I keep saying my company is 10 years old, but trust me, it's probably 5. When you combine all the leaves I had to take, pregnant with one, taking one to the clinic, doing what with one other, it's probably 5 years. I've probably been working in that company for 5 years. You know, so we appreciate the effort and just recognizing the seasons in a woman's life that must be part of the process. They are part of the process. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you. TEDx speaker and training facilitator who teaches the importance of mindset and self-compassion, and also is working in bridging the gap between humans and nature. This is interesting. We are talking about Lima Nur Muhammad. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
We appreciate having you here. And the question for you is that you wrote on navigating crisis in the leadership space. Why is this so important for effective growth?
How about we all just take one big breather right now? So let's just breathe in and breathe out. Okay, I think that was more for me actually. So, when my brother asked me, what is your chapter about? I said to him, it's about navigating personal crisis as a leader. He said, why? You know, nobody really cares about that. We expect you to just get on with it and move on. And I told him, my response to that was, that is exactly why I wrote this chapter. As leaders, especially as women leaders, we put that pressure on ourselves that, you know what, we are leading a group of people. We are mentoring people. So our issues, we're going to put them aside. And when we put them aside, those issues show up. Maybe not right away, but they will show up months and even years later in the forms of chronic illness, disease, ailments. So what I'm trying to say here is we need to bring that grief that we feel when we are in that space of being rock bottom, as a lot of these women have already shared. And we need to own that space as leaders. Because once we do that, we get clarity. So we accept, we then get clarity to be able to move forward, and we are able to then lead effectively. Because we learn through resilience, we grow through our resilience in the face of all adversities. We learn what self-compassion is about. We learn what kindness is about. And then our team members and our followers look at us and say, you know what? If she can stand in front of a crowd and give a keynote speech in her grief, then so can I. You inspire people when you take ownership of your grief. With that said, I don't want to spend too much time. Over here, we have a whole host of other speakers. My chapter is about navigating crisis, and I'm going to be very vulnerable as I end this session here. In this moment, I am in the middle of a crisis. My trainer, Catherine, my mentor, Shalini, is also here, as I'm going through my own healing journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Lima. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being vulnerable. We appreciate you. For 27 years, she's been in the field of training and coaching. She has trained over 800 people across 2 continents in NLP, life coaching and systemic work. We're talking about Marian V. Onyango. Welcome to the stage. Did you see how that was a tongue twister? Did I do it good? Did I do it good?
You're awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Now I give you the phonetic one. Verheid.
Verheid.
Yes.
Verheid. So Marian Verheid.
Verheid.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
very much. All right, good.
Thank
so
you.
Your question is, what is the power of choice and experiencing polarity?
Yes.
You can take it.
Yes. And before all, thank you, Lima, for showing your vulnerability. Because we can rebel away about coaching and training and da-da-da-da-da-da, but in the end, it comes to what you feel inside and what is inside your heart. As a woman, I've been, judged is a nice word, of the choices that I have made in my life. I will not expand on that, but it's been harsh. Still is harsh. You're a mom, how can you do these things? How can you do your trainings while you have kids in 2 continents? Who are you to do that? Huh? Who are you? Well, when a man does that, he gets applauded, right? Wow, great! You're making your career, it's awesome, great. My chapter is about transformation and about listen to your polarities, because we all have choices from within. And these choices hurt as, sorry, I'm Dutch. I will not say the word, but it's on the it's here. But choices hurt. Polarities hurt. Navigating those are the hardest thing you will do in your life. And yet, if you're going to listen, in between these polarities, in between these choices that you have to make, you will listen to the whisper of your heart. Because your heart will lead you the way. Not your brain, in combination with your brain, but have the courage in order to listen to your heart and to make the steps, because nobody will ever understand you, ever. And that's okay. And if you can stand in that okayness, you will stand in your own leadership. And that's what my chapter is about. Honoring my mom, who passed away today, 15 years ago. And when I see the butterflies outside, and I promise her to do on every day that she has left this world to do something special. All of you, thank you for being here and making this day also special for me. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Verheid. Or Onyango. Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Dad joke. Any golfers in the room? I do these jokes with my son, and every time he tells me the same joke, I still laugh again because I forget. Any golfers in the room? Do we have anybody who plays golf? Woo! Okay, so you better get this one. So why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? Yay, Liz! Good job! Yes, of course. Because they might get a hole-in-one. Golfing language. Did you just get it? Yes. Oh, and I know if we ask it again tomorrow, you have forgotten. This is a thing we go through all the time with my son. Great. Tell you what, there's a lot of coaches in this room. So, coaching is powerful. You need a coach. You need a coach. You need a coach. We all need a coach. So make sure before you go and before you leave this space today, you speak to one coach and get a coach. For us to be where we are, for them to be where they are, there's a coach. A coach doesn't advise you, doesn't tell you. A coach allows you to be and guides you in the process. So get a coach. Because the next person I'm about to introduce is a personal leadership and transformational coach. She works with women leaders to maximize their leadership potential. Let's call to the stage Lois Mti. Lois Mti, let's clap until she gets here. Let's clap for her until Lois gets here. We don't stop clapping until Lois gets here. You look fantastic.
Amazing. Thank you.
I love the colors on you.
Thank you.
I do. Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So Lois, your chapter is about leadership influence. In what 2 ways are you influencing others to be better versions of themselves?
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Good afternoon. Now, I want you to close your eyes. Don't look at me. Close your eyes and imagine there are bees all around you. What's happening? Are you scared? Yes. Now open your eyes. That was me, 2019, February, a month like this. Multiply that now, that fear, 100 times. That anxiety, 10,000 times. I walked to the doctor and he said, Lois, you have a brain tumor. My world collapsed. How? Brain tumor? That's what we read in the newspapers, isn't it? Yes, we just watch on the TV news that people have brain tumors. Remember, it was February. We had just set my goals, my visions for 2019. And here, the doctor is shattering my dream. No, it can't be true. The only person close to me, my husband, had traveled out of the country. It was miles away, South Africa. And here I was alone with my daughter Rebecca. Where are you? Oh, she has walked out. Oh, yes, here she is. This one was very young then, not the way you can see her. And I didn't say bye-bye. I was admitted at the hospital. And the doctor just said things that I could not hear. And those words echoed in my mind. Lois, you may go to the theater, yes. We may operate on you, yes. But we cannot guarantee that you'll be able to walk again. What? We can't guarantee that you're going to have sight again. What? Oh my God, this was just too much for me. My world actually collapsed. That was the stories I had then. But you know what? I refused to listen to that. I told myself, no, you can go through this and come out alive. I have got daughters. I've got a son. There is no way I'm going to die. I rose up from there. And that's when it occurred to me. I can help other people to overcome adversity, to overcome challenges. And I only could do this through something that I really wanted. As a coach, as a trainer, as a mentor. So Anna, your 2 questions. How do I inspire? I work with women leaders to maximize their potential. Because on that bed there, I realized, no, it was not over. It was not over. I still had so much to do. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Potential is not what you have already done. That's not potential. Potential is what you are yet to do. Because within you, there is so much power to literally transform your life. And that's what happened to me. I realized I could bounce again. And I had a support system with me. I had my husband when he came back, and he used to take me for walks. And I slowly gained my energy and my gait because I could not actually walk. But today, as I stand before you, I am a testimony that this can happen. So what did I do when God gave me another chance? Two things. I realized that most of the time as ladies, we are so overwhelmed helping other people that we never take care of ourselves. How did I end up in that bed? It's because I did not love myself. I did not take care of myself. You know how many kilograms I was? Over 100 kgs. I was not working out. I was not eating properly. Then I realized I can help somebody to do that. And that's when I founded I Am Leading Book Club. This is a community of readers, women readers, who are just, they want to exploit their full potential, but we added something within that forum. We added self-care because I realized that self-care is what is going to change my life around. So today, I have a community of women, and I can see here Professor Joyce Agalo. Yes, that is the Vice Chancellor, Machakos University. Clap for her. I can see Dr. Sarah Waitiki. Are you there? Yes. Thank you so much. That is part of the reading community that I have. And together we are changing our lives together because we are sharing our story. Now, that is the power of self-discipline. Having no excuses at all. For me to wake up at 5 a.m., and to start working out before I move out, that is having no excuses. Whether it is raining, whether it is not, it is time to work out. It is time to hydrate effectively. It is time to eat correctly every day. It requires discipline to do that. Having no excuses. And the second way is by encouraging the ladies now to take action. Those small, daily, consistent actions, they really empower the ladies to turn around their lives because they realize, oh, I can read a paragraph today. Tomorrow it is a page. Another day is a whole chapter. So it's not about having the whole book she reads. Today, when you get the book, read a sentence, read a paragraph, then read the whole chapter, and soon the whole book will be over. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Oh my goodness. I love the color of your clothes. I love the energy, and I love your transformational journey story. Totally love it. Thank you for blessing us. The next one up is Dua. Dua is an executive and leadership coach, keynote speaker, mentor, consultant, and author. At SETA, accredited facilitator. She is an International Coaching Federation, COMESA member, and professional coach in good standing for 7 years. So her recording is going to be played later as we network because she's not here with us today, right? Or did she come? Are you here, Dua? I don't want to close you out. Okay. So Dua's question was that as a coach, why do you think it's important for people to learn how to be more resilient? And that will be played later as we network. Her answer will be playing through and through. So we want to move to the next one. The next one is a media expert, a leader, and author. She has led 20 of the top media stations in Kenya, including Citizen Radio, and trained over 700 media personalities and managers in Kenya and, let me flip my page, in Kenya and across Africa. She is a speaker and trainer with an edge in strategic leadership, media sustainability, digital transformation. She's been awarded in Kenya Top 40 Under 40 Women honor in recognition of her impact in the media. We are talking about Simal D. Come to the stage. Yes, let's clap until she gets here. Let's clap until she gets here. And here is your mic. And I'm going to ask you a question. And your question is, why did you choose to write about the power of small beginnings? And whom would you say is a message intended for? Take it.
Thank you, Hannah, for the amazing, amazing moderation. I know you are all expecting a bigger person, an older person maybe. That is why I write about the power of small beginnings. Because in most of the rooms I have been, sometimes the youngest, other times probably the only lady. So I tap into that power of smallness. And the power of small beginnings starts from my own small beginning. I'm a product of small beginnings. Growing up with no real special advantage, the places that Hannah is talking about, where she goes on holiday, Masai Mara, I grew up in a place like that, only on the other side of Kenya, at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro, the extreme corner of Masai land. No proper roads, no university in sight, no mentor, no one that you can look up to in the craft that I wanted to study, which is media, and say, I can learn a thing or two. So there is really no roadmap to follow. Yeah. So I use my story, and I hope it empowers someone to use their strong beginning as a leverage, not as an excuse. Because there are many of us that may not have had the advantage of having godfathers, of getting big doors opened for them, but I just want to encourage you that it does not matter where we start. Because we have no control, really, about where we start. That is totally out of our hands, but we have absolutely every control over how we end up there. But how we end up there is because of process. So in my chapter about the power of small beginnings, I write about the power of process. Process is what takes you from the small beginning to the desired end. And I am thankful for where we are today, and I hope there are also many, in addition to my fellow authors, there are many young people, because we live in a dispensation where we have a generation that wants to skip the process. We have no control over the small beginning. We want the great corner office. We want the great accolades that we've had read about every amazing author there, but we do not want to go through process. Yeah. So process is painful. It hurts, but that is where greatness is made. Yeah. So I write about the power of process and how every time we skip process, there has to be a redo. Even God does not skip process. Look at every great person that he worked with. From Moses, he had to send him from Egypt to the wilderness to work on him. Process. To Jacob, he had to run away from his own homeland to his uncle to be taken through process. So process is what refines. And through process, I talk about the power of mentorship. And I love that there's so many amazing coaches in the room, and there's also fellow mentors. And what I love about mentorship is that it is the only shortcut that I have found to process. So when you get the right mentors and you get the right coaches, then you're able to navigate your process better, to cut off significant amount of time through that process. And I also write about the power of purpose. In everything that we do, who else does it serve other than ourselves? Yeah. How do we ensure that what we do actually makes a difference to other people? Imagine a tree that develops all these amazing fruits, grows all these amazing fruits and eats all those fruits itself. What kind of tree would that be? Yeah. So I pray that we are not trees that only develop the fruits that we eat, but the fruits are also able to feed others. So that is basically the essence of my chapter, which makes the end of the book. And aptly, I close my chapter with a poem. And I would like to dedicate this poem to every author that is in the room. Because there's a lady who said something very powerful, that as you go through leadership and as a lady, as you go through the process of becoming, we take care of everybody else. But often we forget ourselves. So I write this to encourage myself and every other person that even as we go through that, it is very important to pause, take that break, and be unapologetic about taking the time to refresh. Allow me to read for you this ode, and I say, arise, shine, for your light has come. Dream anew, bigger. This book is just the first chapter in your adventure book of life. This time, may you venture off the shore. May you venture off the safe shore often. As you give life, may you remember to live. As you scale the ladder of success, may you remember to pause and take in the view, looking back with gratitude and ahead with a lot of hope. As you rush through the hustle and bustle, remember to pause for breath, soak in the scent of the present, reflect the afterglow of the sun's kiss, dance to that random song. May you never lose that sparkle of wonder in your eyes. As you reach back to uplift, remember to reach up for uplifting. As you build, may you grow. As you pour out, may you remember to pour in. For how can an empty vessel fill, or a burnt-out candle set others alight? Let go of that cliff for your wings to take flight. Go on. So, thank you very much. May God bless you all.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. Go on and soar. As you lead, may you also grow. We appreciate that. We appreciate the poem as well. Thank you. The next one up says, she is in her third phase of career as a nature finance specialist. Having previously been a risk and compliance professional within the financial sector and prior to that, a technology expert. She is passionate about making a positive contribution to investment and development in Africa and is a certified coach. A futurist, she tells me that she is aspiring to be the voice of nature in Africa's financial. Could we have... Thank you. Here is your mic. And I have a question.
This is how it feels when your name is called out here. Your heart beats. We are celebrating women today. But when do what about them? To kind of show me, many times when I didn't even have confidence as office, as a young graduate in a very audit firm, is not a joke. But my boss, David, did that. And to date, you know, and you can delete. When I'm feeling, I didn't need to put that, or I'm feeling shy, or you know how you have those imposter syndrome moments, you go and delete the post. With a book, you don't. And that took a lot of courage. So for me, the opportunity to celebrate these men when they are alive is what I'm standing on today. I'm not going to write, an eulogy. And God forbid, but we're all going there someday. But I have the opportunity to celebrate very strong people, very strong men who have walked with me, and they will read about the impact that they had in my life. But then I want to finish with this. Many times, and when I was reflecting, I looked at what I was writing, and I realized that what I did was actually put myself in the path. Many times I didn't believe in myself, and you'll read from the book. And more importantly, many times I have reinvented myself, either knowingly or unknowingly. But what stands out is providence lends itself. And this providence lends itself in many ways, and one of which I have indicated as a strong man who have stood with me. I just want to finish this. I was to do I had a thing, I was to do Michelle Obama. She opens the book, she sits, and then she says, she reads something from the book. I'm sorry, Dorothy, I let you down. But I'm going to read a very, a quote that I really reflected upon when I was even panicking. I'll say, do so. I used to see your calls and I used to shake. I'm like, why did I commit to this? But I'm glad I did. Because as William Murray says, concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never have occurred otherwise. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate your writing. Thank you very much. Can we just take a moment to just celebrate the men in our lives that support what we do? We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And it's just to support the way you want to support and the way you do it, that's enough. And we appreciate it in however small way or big way you do it. Thank you. A medical doctor working as engagement lead at Access to Medicine Foundation, a keen advocate on global health equity and empowerment of young women and girls. We would like to welcome Dr. Mary Wamboi to the stage. Let's clap for her until she gets here. We clap, we clap, we clap.
You omitted the last name because it's very
I
difficult.
I know. Can you
It's
just
very-
say it for me? I asked like, do I say this or do I not? Say that last name before I ask you the question.
It's Molman. Molman.
Molman.
That's why she omitted.
See?
But thank you so much. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Daktari. In your chapter, you share about your personal journey. What effective personal transition strategies have you found helpful when navigating major life changes or transitions?
Fantastic, and it's such an honor to be here. In my chapter, I start telling a story about a scar. If you're in front of me, I have a very deep scar on my leg. When I was a little girl, Mama, you remember, right? I was a very active kind of a girl, and my mom had created like a glass shelf she had put outside for disposal. And I was jumping behind my puppy, and I stepped onto the glass cupboard. It shattered, went right into my leg. I could see my bone. Scary scene, right? Screaming! And my mom came rushing and rushed me to the hospital. And as I remember, I saw these doctors who were running around in the emergency unit trying to arrest the bleeding. Oh, this instrument, and the doctors telling me, come on, lie down, lie down. My mom telling me, lie down. She could not handle it. He went out. But I remember I was so curious actually to see what they were doing. I refused to lie down. I looked at them suturing my leg. And that's how my story in medicine began. A doctor, as an engagement lead at the Access to Medicine Foundation, where we are fighting for better access of medicines and diagnostic products for people in Africa. That has been my passion. But also I'm working in the Netherlands, again, where your voice as a Black woman, when you sometimes enter into spaces, someone mentioned you're small. I hear you. Black woman, small. 3 things. And into a point, I got to a place where actually I had a breakdown. I started questioning, what am I doing? Who am I? My transition periods, I've realized 4 things. The first powerful thing that sadly we are never taught in our communities is to really look into ourselves and find out, who am I? What is my power as Mary? Because power does not come with titles. It's good to have, but the real power comes from within me, understanding who you are, understanding your vision, and clearly mapping out how you want to get there and attaining regardless of what the community says. I'm a mom of 3 children. I travel around the world. You should be sitting at home. I defy that. The second part I've learned is failure. Most of you growing up in high school, me, I remember when I used to fail. You're paraded in front of people and like, look at this failure. They failed by certain marks. You're caned. In primary school, we used to be caned. So I was really afraid of failure. But you know what? Failure is part of our journey as women leaders. And you will fail. But what I've become very good at it is bouncing back. I'm like, Mary, well, that didn't work. It's fine. Come on. Let's move on. I have learned something. Let's create the next way forward. And the third thing a lot of people have mentioned about is families. My husband, he's not here. He's German. That's why my last name is very difficult to say. But my husband, my mom, my father who passed on, and I wish he would have really made me and believe in myself. And even sometimes when I question, I'll be like, can I do this? My mom will always say, Mary, your God always hears your prayer. Move. Move. And that's who I am today. So my chapter is just telling you and breaking down when I've had breaking moments. I have cried 1,001 times. And you know what? My chapter is not yet over. Amen? And we're going to write even better books. And we're going to encourage more ladies coming from a very small beginnings. Be blessed.
Mary, oh my goodness. You made me tear a little bit there. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being vulnerable. Your chapter is not yet over.